Yo! Video games.
Okay, so let's talk Tokon. So I actually got to go hands-on with this at EVO, like many others. There wasn't any sort of special demo or anything, but there was like longer hands-on time. I didn't get to do any longer hands-on. I only got to play my block of time like everyone else, which I think is fair and fine. And I think the first thing to really say about Tokon before we get into anything else is this is not your daddy's Marvel game. This is not like anything Capcom-y. And some people are probably expecting this or aware of this. This ain't Versus series. It is nothing like any of the Capcom Versus fighting games at all whatsoever. This is, I call it Dragon Blue Grand Ball. And apparently there's a lot of Blaze Blue cross tag mechanics in this game. But this plays so much closer to a mixture of Grand Blue and Dragon Ball, and I guess Blaze Blue, which I'm unfamiliar, Blaze Blue cross tag, which I'm unfamiliar with. There's almost pretty much nothing like whatsoever that sort of feels traditional Capcom Marvel games at all. The other thing you'll notice right away, even though I guess they kind of skipped it here, the presentation in this game is phenomenal. It is off the charts. There's a really big wind up where your characters are walking in the arena and they're like team this and then team that. I think they were all just called Team Tokon, but they were hinting that like you're going to be able to like have different names of your teams, but huge production values and like really embracing a very comic book aesthetic with a lot of the UI and a lot of the transitions and stage transitions and stuff. But again, I have to stress super hard, plays nothing like a Capcom fighting game, any Capcom fighting game. And I think the weirdest thing that people are going to have to get over, as you saw with the stage transition there, is that this is a game where, and I guess I'll have a little audio, right? A little audio can't hurt, right? This is a game where it's just going to feel weird how the tag mechanics work, because you don't even have access to most of your fighters until it's stage transition or a second round or whatever comes first kind of deal. So this is not gonna they're very much not gonna make this an insanely tag based fighter where it's like it's assist fighter 2 or whatever. The way the cooldowns work is a little more Blaze Blue cross tag, and honestly this game has this weird feeling of, I feel like the game was at one point just a 1v1. And then at some point during development, they decided to change things up and make it a tag fighter. Now, you can change characters. You can tag in, but they don't have a different life bar. You have your own. Everyone shares the same life bar. But yeah, it's just as a game that's very heavy on auto combos. It's very heavy, on using directional inputs rather than motion, like down to up. It's more just kind of like forward or back or up or down kind of thing. But yeah, it's a game that's pretty much geared towards, I'm going to say it and you're not going to like it, but it is what it is. It is a very casual geared fighting game. Oftentimes, some of the best things to do in the game are just to mash light, heavy, or medium. There's a lot of buttons in the game, though. There's like multiple tag buttons. There's like assemble button, as they call it, for tagging. There's like special buttons. There's a gimmick button where every character has a gimmick. So I played Dr. Doom naturally, and Dr. Doom has his gimmick is an Aegis reflector, and he can either put it like right in front of him and it slowly goes forward, or he can put it way to the other side of the screen and it comes back towards him. And he has teleports and stuff. So I mean, a good point of contention here is like Doom is a slow zoner trap character in this game. He's not flying around and doing like crazy OTGs like in a Marvel like versus Capcom game. He's basically like a setup trap character. So just a very different feel altogether. And again, the thing that I kept trying to do more unique, more light, medium, heavy assist, light, medium, heavy gimmick. I was trying to do more of that stuff, right? But oftentimes in the early days of me playing the game, it was more beneficial to just sort of mash the light and just mash out the light combo, mash out the medium, do the medium combo, or the heavy combo. So if you didn't like the auto combo feature in Dragon Ball, it feels like they kind of just like leaned heavier into it with this game. So there's that. The other thing that's, I think, going to drive a lot of Capcom players crazy is the game does not have a push block. The game does have a breaker mechanic in the form of assist breaker, like you can use it, but you need it kind of like Guilty Gear with its burst. Like you need assist to be ready. You need like the gauge and meter for it. It's not something you can kind of just like throw out a lot. It does have alpha counters, but it is not a game that seems to be very focused heavily on its defensive mechanics. It's very much a game about kind of doing offensive stuff and kind of creating these wild scenarios with like your tags and with just like your sort of like auto combos and extending them and seeing how far you can get them to extend out. But it's not very hard to do. It's not it's not technically hard to do. Like the input reads are not necessarily insanely difficult. So yeah, there's a lot of weird Dragon Ball-ism to it, and yeah, like the other thing here is that like yeah, it's kind of missing a crazy X Factor, thing right now. Who knows? Maybe there's more to it than we're aware of. Hello, Luminous. But yeah, for the most part, again, this game right now is presentation-wise amazing and gorgeous, even better in person than what you're seeing here. So much stuff going on, and again, I do like how like when you do like a stage transition, you'll get the little comic book UI, and it kind of like reminds you, hey, by the way, we're ready. Like hey, I'm here to help. Like it kind of reminds you you have tag partners available. But yeah, generally speaking, like, you'd be wise to play BlazBlue Cross Tag or Dragon Ball Fighters or Grand Blue Uprising, or Grand Blue Versus to get prepared for this. I think you'll feel more at home with those games, because it frankly is an Arc System game, but it's not exactly a very Guilty Gear Arc System game. It kind of plays like Arc System's other games. Maybe not necessarily normal BlazBlue, but like the other projects that Arc Systems has taken on. It plays more like that. I do think it's gonna resonate very well. Just one, because of its presentation, and two, because of its ease of use. I think a lot of players are going to come into Marvel Tokon the same way Dragon Ball Fighters did, and feel better about the game, not having to know all kinds of legacy inputs and stuff like that. I do think longtime Marvel vs. Capcom fans are going to feel a tinge of disappointment, or they're probably going to feel a little out of their element with it. Again, it's not really a bad thing. It's just it's different. It is a different game. I think the lack of defensive mechanics and options is definitely going to be maybe a sticking point for a lot of fighting game diehards. But I think fighting game diehards, I think even competition, the competitive scene, to me, from just everything I've seen and felt and played with it, just from a gameplay mechanic, it feels like competition is kind of like the last thing on their minds with this game. I think they're just all about, let's introduce this game. Let's have a bunch of crazy, unique Marvel redesigns, like all these crazy anime redesigns on all these Marvel characters. Let's have all this crazy UI stuff. Let's have all these insane combos, insane supers, insane tag-up mechanics, insane, just all this insane stuff going on in the background. And I think that's kind of where their focus is. It doesn't feel like they're that innately interested in making a really highly competitive game, or even a game, and definitely not a game that's like trying to carry on like the Capcom style of Legacy of Versus games. It's just not that. And it's not even Dragon Ball, because Dragon Ball was a 3v3 game. 3 characters, 3 life bars. You know, this is a 4v4 game, but it is 1 life bar per round. And at the show, it was, as you noticed probably, it's 3 rounds. It's like a 3D fighter. It's not even like a normal, like 2 rounds. So, I mean, all that being said, is the game fun? Oh yeah, it's a blast. Do I wish I had more time with it? 100%. I feel like there was a lot more I could have learned and done with a lot more time to go hands-on. Luckily, there's a beta coming next month. But again, one thing, if there's any sort of like thing I would be cautious of or a little wary of is because the game is so heavily focused on people, you just mash the light, just mash the medium, just mash the heavy. You're going to see repeating combos a whole heck of a lot in this game. Especially when it gets online and people just realizing like it's just sort of easy and useful and honestly like sometimes the best thing to do is just use the auto combo, man. No reason for you not to, kind of thing. So there you go. I think if you like Dragon Ball and Blaze Blue cross tag and especially you know Grand Blue Dragon Ball, you're gonna like this game. I think you're gonna like it a lot. I think if you're a casual Marvel fan, you're gonna like it a lot. I think if you're not really huge into fighting games, there's probably, at least presentation-wise, a lot to like here. It's really only gonna be a hard sell, I think, for the die-hard Marvel vs. Capcom crowd. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, yeah. Otherwise, I enjoyed my time with the game. I would like to play more of it. I think it's going to be a very fun game. I don't know if it's going to have the worldwide appeal that Dragon Ball FighterZ did, because Dragon Ball FighterZ was such a phenomenon globally. And this game being locked to a single console and PC is definitely going to sort of hurt its long-term gains and potential. But I think it's a very cool game. I think it's a very different game. I think it's fine to have a very different Marvel game out there. But if you were going into this looking for like, okay, this is the second coming of Marvel games, Marvel baby, Marvel, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're getting very much a licensed Arc System game. And if you're okay with that, or even excited by it, you're gonna have a great time. If you really want to play a Marvel vs. Capcom style game, a new one, there's another game which I'll talk about in another video. And that's called Invincible Versus. So if you were looking for the Marvel vs. Capcom style game, it's there in Invincible. Here, this is the second coming of Dragon Ball, Grand Blue, and Blaze Blue Cross Tag. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the channel.